Hey up everybody, my name's Joshua Morrison, director of Johnny Moz's Lessons in Confidence. Today I want to talk a little bit about Westfield and why I don't like it. I think this is one of the worst places on planet Earth, right? And I'm going to get into why. So if you know what a Westfield is, in America they apparently have loads of them, but in Britain we've only got two. We got one in Stratford and we got one in Shepherd's Bush. This is the one in Shepherd's Bush, right? And look, do you know what Westfield is? It's a big shopping centre full of shops that you can't use, right? It's got stuff in there like Gucci, right? When am I ever going to need to go buy Gucci clothes? It's got Ralph Lauren in there. When am I ever going to need to buy that, right? I was walking around in there, right, with this camera, right? I wasn't planning on filming inside there because I know that like you're not allowed to. There's filming restrictions, stuff like that. It's private property and obviously all that kind of stuff, right? But right, I'm just walking around with this camera at my side, right? Just taking in this overcrowded, sterile, corporate, disgusting environment, right? And I'm walking around, right? Just trying to get from one side to the other, right? And I'm going up the escalator, right? And at the end of the escalator, I'm greeted by a security guard, big burly security guard with loads of like kit on, right? And a big high vis, right? And he says to me, "Are you recording then?" And I was like, "No, I'm just carrying it around with me. You see the lens caps on it." And he's like, "Oh yeah, but sorry, you can't actually have this in the building. I'm gonna have to ask you to leave." And I was like, "What? I mean, yeah, fair enough, all right, I'll leave, but what do you mean, what? I can't exist in this premises or with this camera?" Look, I take this camera everywhere, right? I really do take this camera everywhere, okay? And what, I'm not allowed to exist with my possessions in this thing. It's a camera, for God's sake. I'm not allowed to take it in. That's not why I dislike this place, by the way, right? I've got a long and storied history about why I don't like this place. I'm gonna impart onto you now. So the first time I came here, I was like 12, right? You're in year 7, year 8, you hear all the popular kids going on about, "We're gonna go to Westfield and I'm gonna go do loads of shopping." And it's like, okay, cool, good for you. All right, I don't mind that, right? I don't mind that until I get dragged along, right? And I have to sit in that shithole of a building, right? Just wandering around with this annoying music playing, right? The lights are so bright, everything's so large and far apart. There's so many people everywhere. There's so many shops that are just so useless. It's all designer handbags and, you know, just like Lexus, you know, shops and stuff like that. There's just nothing that I need. There's only one thing in there that I have any use for, and it's the View Cinema, right? Now, the first time I went into this View Cinema, I was 13 or 14, and I wanted to watch, with some friends, I wanted to watch We're the Millers, right? Which is rated 15. We weren't allowed to get in, right? We did try to like blag our way in, but we weren't allowed in. So we had to settle for buying tickets to Adam Sandler's Grown Ups 2, right? So we sat down in the cinema, right? And this is one of the first films I ever saw in the cinema. Like, this is the first film in the cinema I ever saw on my own without being taken by my parents, right? Grown Ups 2, right? Pure cinema, that is, right? So I sit down, we sit through the 40 minutes of adverts, and that's not Westfield's fault, that's View Cinema's fault. But we get through that, we get through all the trailers, right? Get a trailer for We're the Millers, which is a bit irritating because I'm not allowed to watch it, right? And finally the film comes on, and it starts off with Adam Sandler being woken up by a moose in his house, or a deer in his house or something like that, and the deer is just like running all around, destroying everything. And then later on in the film, they're hanging out at like a little like cliff sort of lake thing, right? Lakeside sort of thing. And I think it's Kevin James. He decides he's gonna like do a bit of like dive bombing off the cliff. So he dive bombs off the cliff, but they're all skinny dipping, right? And he dives off the cliff and he lands arse first into Adam Sandler, right? And there's a sort of muffled line that Adam Sandler gives of, it's like, "I'm inside you." And so what? The idea is that Adam Sandler's face and his entire head went up Kevin James's arsehole. Is that the point? Is that the joke? Hilarious, right? So I watched that. It's actually not as bad as it's made out to be, right? It's not the worst film on planet Earth, right? That'd be Dune, which I'll get into at some point. But anyway, so we get out of the cinema, right? And then we start shopping. We go around doing some shopping, right? And we're going into all these clothes shops, and the minimum for a t-shirt is like 40 quid. And this is 10 years ago, right? So I'm walking around just like this, You know that whole thing of like husbands that get taken like clothes shopping, and they have that like in sitcoms and stuff, they always have that little section for husbands to sit at. And you know, the whole joke is that they're just bored, right? That was me, right? I didn't even have a girlfriend. I was just wandering around there with my friends. So, and it's just irritating because there's so much space there. It's so big. Look at it. It goes on all the way down there. It's huge. It's massive, this thing is, right? And it's full of crap. It's full of clothes shops, jewelry shops, random bits of fucking bubble tea, right? One cinema, a couple Vietnamese restaurants, right? A load of walkways. You can get some truffles in there. You can buy a Lexus, and you can get an opportunity to go cliff diving. Brilliant. Is that what I want from a building that's easily the size of a fucking airport? Right? What a great use of fucking space that is. But oh, it works for the economy. This whole fucking motorway road here, right? That goes down to a car park. It's all for a car park, where you got loads of cars with fucking like four-digit long license plates that they've spent like 8 grand on. So they drive down there and they spend £10 a cunting hour to sit and park in fucking Westfield, so they can go dragged along by their fucking families, just wandering up and down these endless fucking streets of fucking, oh, let me try and calm down and bring this back to something useful in some kind of regard, right? Because, look, I understand the need for shopping. I understand that shopping can be nice and it's a hobby that people have. And maybe I don't share that hobby, but I shouldn't allow my lack of enjoyment for something to get in the way of other people's enjoyment for something, right? And that's totally fine, okay? I get that. However, this right here is a testament to the classism in this fucking country. You go in this, right? If you're not a fucking millionaire, there's nothing in here for you. And do you know where this is? It's in Shepherd's fucking Bush. Do you know where Shepherd's Bush is? It's the most derelict fucking place on the planet, right? Just surrounded by tower blocks. If I go that way, it's not a slum, but it's basically a slum. It's fucking ridiculous what's here. There is nothing in Westfield for the local residents, right? Everyone that wants to come here comes from like fucking Fitzrovia and Chelsea and Knightsbridge, and they drive in here in their giant fucking cars. Obviously, I'm not getting good cars here to make the point with, but you just get all these materialistic people, right, that just go in there, right, and they piss about all day and under these fucking fluorescent lights, right, being offered various bits of free food, and they don't even do the free food anymore. That was the one good thing about Westfield, is you could go in and you could get some free fucking food, and that was really nice. But now, there's nothing. There's nothing in there for me. The View Cinema is still there, but I've found better cinemas that are nearer to me now, right? Cinemas that aren't like corporatized, where, you know, there's View Cinema, Odeon, Cineworld, whatever the American equivalents are. They're not doing much for the state of film in this country and in America as well. You want to go to the local picture houses. You want to go to the independent cinemas, the ones that, and I know I look like a fucking person to be saying that, right? But you need to go to the local picture houses and support them and buy their fucking food and buy the tickets to their fucking movies, because they'll have way better movies than there. I bet right now in there, the best film that they've got on is like John Wick 5, right? And look, John Wick was all right. The action scenes are good. Keanu Reeves is a nice guy, but the films are shit, right? They didn't need to make 4 of them, let alone 5 of them, or however many they've fucking got going on in there now, right? So I do apologize for the fact that this has immediately become a rant, right? I didn't want this to become a rant, but I'll tell you what, I've been dragged to this cunting building so many fucking times. I hate it. I hate everything that it stands for. I hate the fact that it's a giant testament to the fucking capitalistic system that we live under. I hate the fact that it's a classist fucking shithole under fluorescent lights. I hate the fact there's no shops in there that are any good to me, right? Fill it full of YMCAs and Sainsbury's and I'd be happy, right? That'd be great. Okay, go in there, you can look through the record shops. Oh, there's a HMV in there. That's pretty decent, all right? But even then, that's not brilliant, right? I went into a HMV the other day. Do you know how much a fucking record costs now? When I was getting records like 8 years ago, they were like 17 quid. Now you want to get a single LP, they're like 40 quid. 40 quid. The bargain bucket is now like 25 quid. What's that about, right? I bet in there it's even more expensive because of the buffoons that go in there, right? And it's just a giant waste of space. And honestly, they've expanded it recently. It's even fucking bigger now, right? Do you know how far this thing goes back? It goes so far back that it's not even called Shepherd's Bush anymore. It's called White fucking City, right? And on the other side of this giant wall of fucking plastic, right, is another fucking shithole looking slummy sort of area full of people that are too poor to shop in this fucking shopping centre. All they can do is wander around it, crowding everything up. So you don't even get the luxury of just having a nice open space. It's crowded all the time, it's noisy, it stinks. The security guards kick me out for having a camera, not even filming with a camera, just having a camera. I don't have any footage to cut to, but just to show that I didn't film in there, right? And look, nothing against all the people that work in there. It supplies loads of jobs, you know. There's loads of jobs that are being done in there, designed for, you know, people that are on basically minimum wage to serve the, you know, the upper class essentially, or the people that are willing to spend £150 on a pair of tights, right? Fair enough, it does create jobs for the economy. And rich people have loads of money to spend, and we should do something about that. Cool, I get that. Doesn't need to be this big. Doesn't need to be that size. Look at this shit. Look how fucking big it is. Look how far it goes. Do you see that? Do you see how long this fucking road is? It's infinite. It's an infinite expanse of corporatism and fucking, what's the word that I'm trying to think of? Consumerism, that's it. Right, just a pain in the ass, and I don't like it. And genuinely, right? Look, I understand that this video won't be for everyone. I understand that some people might like this building and I'm just here shitting on it. And I don't mean to wet your whistle. No, that's not the saying. I don't mean to shit on your parade. I don't mean to, you know, take the piss out of something that you find quite enjoyable. It's just a nice little hobby going into Westfield and having a look around. Maybe you have some shops in there that you like. Maybe you've got some friends that work in there that you go in and visit and have a nice little time with. I'm sure there's little communities in there, right, that I haven't, you know, been privy to. And I totally understand that. And I don't want to destroy everything about it, right? What I want is for it to be maybe 15% the size, right? I wouldn't mind if Westfield was just what was in that first shot, right? But this, look how big it is. And you know what? You can go the other fucking way as well. So here, you got all this, and then you got all this. That's more of it. There's more of it. It just keeps going and going. There's so much of it everywhere. Right, Westfield, as far as the eye can see, so far there's west, east, north and south field, right? And there's another one of these cunting things in Stratford as well. And I'm not happy with it. I don't like the fact they exist. If they want to build a third one, they can build on my fucking dead body. But they're gonna have to get a whole lot more of my dead bodies just to fit this fucking thing on it. It's ridiculous, right? So thank you very much for watching. I know this has been an angry video. I know you don't normally come to me for that sort of thing. Shut the fuck up. Get your fucking, the woman that's probably like ill or whatever, and sort her out. Oh, get that. She's ambulance going into Westfield. So it's strain on the public services. Pain in the ass, man. So thank you so much for watching. Sorry for the rant. And yeah, I love you all. You're all amazing. And we'll be back with some more positivity very, very soon. I've wanted to do a rant video for a little while. I like ranting sometimes. It's nice to get some energy out there, you know? And I had some fun doing that, right? And I know that people will probably, like, the first, like, if you don't like this video, the first thought will be like, oh, if you don't like something, why think about it? Why give it any of your time, right? Because it's enjoyable to get some steam off your chest. I like that. I have fun doing that. I was having the time of my life doing that rant. That was a good bit of fun. I enjoyed it, right? And I'd like to do another one on something else that could get me similarly riled up. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I love you all. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. And leave your comments, by the way, about that Westfield.